What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for the super quick video, and today we'll be talking about the new feature this year, which is called the shot timing visual cue settings. We'll talk about how it works, what's the difference between this one and the last year release time settings, and at the end I'll give my recommendation on which settings is the best for you. And by the way, after watching, would be really awesome if you guys can check the channel out for more contents. I made some good stuff already, so now let's get right into it. So basically, visual cue settings is like your release time settings from last year, but instead of basing everything to timing, now everything will be based on the visual cues of your jump shot. So for example, if you chose push, then even if you change your jump shot, or maybe whoever player is taking the shot on your My Team mode, the visual cues will be the same, meaning you'll be hunting for the same part of the animation on every shot you take. I think the problem with release time settings last year is if you change your jump shot, you have to study the visual cues again, because sometimes the visual cues doesn't land on the same place. Like sometimes there's some tiny differences on each jump shot animations. So basically, release will be when the ball is right on your fingertips. Push will be a couple of frames after you start pushing the ball from your forehead. Set point is right before you start pushing the ball. With jump though, it is really hard to tell what part of the animation is it. It's not on the apex of the jump, it's not when you leave the floor, but it's somewhere at the middle. One more aspect that you need to know about visual cues is that it's not always linear. In here, the gaps between visual cue points on Steph's jump shot are pretty much the same. There might be some small differences in there, but when you look at it, it's pretty linear. With Katie though, there's a big gap between jump and set point. At first I thought that maybe there was something wrong, but I tried it a lot of times and I got the same results. And here you can see, that's the gap between jump and set point, right? And here's the gap between set point and push. If I put this on the chart, you can notice that it's not linear, not like Curry's. Which makes sense, to be honest, because you can notice that when Katie shoots in real life, it usually takes him a while to bring the ball to his forehead. Probably it's because of the wingspan. So that's why there's a big gap between jump and set point. Now, it might look that it's a bad thing that, some jump shots doesn't have linear cues, but if you think about it, it's a good thing because it means that if you chose push, it means that no matter what jump shot you chose, you will be hunting for the same part of the animation. At the end of the day, most likely you'll base everything on the visual cues or animations anyway, because you are taking off your jump shot meter. Now for the next one, you're probably wondering now that if release cue will require longer time on holding the shoot button than jump, does that mean that there will be more challenge? That's a really great question, but it doesn't really affect the challenge. And here you can see that's release and that's jump. And even you can notice that the jump finished first, it still won't affect the coverage. You can notice as well that even 1 meter finished first, their animations are still the same. And there you can see 11% coverage for both. I tested a lot of samples and their averages are pretty much the same. Your challenges won't be affected. The ones that will affect it is if you slow down your shot speed on your jump shot creator. So before we go to the next part, just want to invite you guys to like the video if liking so far. And if you're new here, I'm Choots and I do lots of detailed badge and stat testings. First week I'm going to do stuff like, speed with ball, strength, acceleration, vert, and all the stuff you need to know on the first week before you finalize your build. And I'm doing this thing full time, so expect a lot of videos coming your way. Trust me, subscribing to this channel will be one of your best investment this year. So now going back, you're probably wondering now, is there any direct relation between the timing settings and visual cue settings? Like maybe release is equal to very late and very early is your jump. And there might be some frame differences in there, but I think that's the best way to understand it. Release will be something like very late, push will be something like late, and so forth. And here you can see, on Curry's jump shot, it is hard to see any difference. Now for the next one, then what is the best settings? Of course it's personal preference, but here's my recommendation. It is not going to be jump because it's just too fast and there's no reference at all on the visual cues, and release is just too hard to time if you factor in delay. I know it's personal preference, but I just think that push is the ones that really make sense. Or maybe some people will like set point, but for me, it's going to be push. If you factor in delay, for me, push will be the ones that will really feel natural. It will land just before the flick of the wrist, which I think the most natural feeling when shooting. So let me know in the comment section which ones are you using and some other feedback. So that's all for the video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to drop by the channel to watch some other content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.